What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We've got a great video for you guys today. We're gonna give you 10 tax tips. As you know, very important for being an Uber and Lyft driver. Before we jump into this video, I do wanna say I'm not a licensed accountant or anything of the sorts. This is just my, I guess I should say, opinions, but I'll just describe it as the things that I've done when I have filed as an Uber and Lyft driver, and hopefully there's some things in here that maybe you didn't know you could utilize. Also, before we jump into this video, we wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Solo. Solo is an amazing app for making more money while you're on the road. You get guaranteed earnings in whatever market you're in, and on top of that, you can get $15 just for signing up using the link in the description below. Check that out, guys. Let's dive in. So the standard rule of thumb is write off literally everything, but that's not good advice. So I've always half understood this world, and I've always used H&R Block or TurboTax to do basically everything. Sometimes I'm just too lazy for it, and so I just, pay H&R Block to just do as much of it as I can. But for those of you that enjoy crunching the numbers and doing it yourself, you might get a kick out of some of this. Okay, so the main things to know is that this is where, I would say this is where most people get confused, is you get 56 cents a mile on the standard IRS mileage, right? But if you choose to not do that, you can deduct the actual expenses for essentially operating the vehicle. So that's your gas, your oil, your insurance, your car registration, repairs, maintenance, depreciation, lease payments, etc. Now, for me, at this point, I always just did the 56 cents a mile. For the first half of 2022, the rate is 58.5 cents per mile, and it increases to 62.5 for the last half. So keep that in mind. That is a good note to know. The standard mileage deduction, I don't know if I want to go that deep into this. I wrote down 2 intensive notes. Let's skip past that, because that's just I don't want to be crunching numbers on this video. Now, the other thing that I feel like most drivers miss is their phone expenses. So you can do the cost of the phone itself. Now, what I would do here, and this is what I always did, is I bought a second phone. I didn't buy just a brand new iPhone. I always bought an older model, and I used it just for Uber and Lyft. Now, the reason I did this is because I also had a card I used just for Uber and Lyft expenses. So my Spotify Premium was on the secondary phone. This is back when I was a full-time driver. And any additional apps or things that I had to pay for to make the ride more pleasant for the customer, I did on that card and on that phone. And for me, that was just easier than doing it all on my phone. But really the main reason I actually did the secondary phone option, it just made it easier. I liked if I had, I liked just keeping my phone separate, and I liked that I had the music on the main phone, or the secondary phone, and then if I get a phone call, it doesn't ring through and interrupt. It just makes a smoother experience. And again, if you can write off the cost of the secondary phone, you might as well do it. Just don't go ball out. You don't need an iPhone 12 or 13 to drive Uber and Lyft. You need something very basic. You could probably get away with having an iPhone 7. I wouldn't even dare speak of such blasphemies as Android phones. That's why I didn't mention them. So the cost of the phone itself, the billing charges of your carrier, any accessories that are essential to your business, such as chargers, mounts, and cradles. So that's a very, very good thing to keep in mind, is don't just get the crappy phone mount that you shove into the air conditioning vent. Get a really nice one. It's another thing that I promise will make a difference. So here's all the things that you can write off technically. And the first one's obvious: bottled water, snacks, any amenities for customers. Now that can go way beyond that. I always did cologne so that people could get a nice spritz before they walked in the club. I did breath mints. I did aspirin for the 80-pound girl who had 19 shots and is just massive headache. Anything you can think of. If there's ever a scenario where people are hey, do you by chance have this in your car? You should write that down and then make sure you have that in your car at all times. Kleenex is a great thing. Tissues, puke baggies, etc. Business taxes and licenses. City and airport fees, that's going to be select markets. Freeway, highway, and bridge tolls, select markets. Electronic toll transponder, I think that's like in Illinois where I grew up, we had the iPass, I think it would be like that. Floor mats, so you can get some nice fancy floor mats, or even seat covers so that people, you know, if they wipe their greasy paws on your seats, there's not a stain. Get the seat covers. Anything of that sort. You could get car toolkits. So like I used to always keep like a little, it was like a AAA bag, and it had like the basic tools. You know, you had your obvious stuff for changing tires, but then you had additional stuff like road flares, and never had to use them, fortunately, but you know, next 4th of July I probably will. Any car toolkits, any first aid kits. I think that's another great thing. I never had the first aid kits, but great thing to have handy. Tire inflator and pressure gauge, portable battery jump packs. That's definitely a good one to have. Flashlights and road flares, there we go. Roadside assistance plans, and then they're labeled as office supplies, but what that could be is, I mean, it could probably be as simple as a notepad and paper for, I don't know how you would justify that, but I know you can write off office supplies for whatever reason. I guess that would probably have more to do with the taxes, but essentially anything that you use for your business, you can write off. That is essentially the general rule of thumb there. So anyways, I'm gonna end the video there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out Solo, linked in the description below. And I do want to reiterate one more time, I'm not a tax professional by any means. This is just what I've always done. Take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, hope you guys crush it out there this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.